What's going on? Here's another. This is straight up Dale right here. Hook this one up, which is fair use. You know what I'm saying? We can use copywritten material for the sake of criticism or parody. So I don't know why these people's got their panties all up in a bunch about this, and they're like, old Iden, old creepy sleepy Iden is scared of our memes. He's like terrified. Him and where the land of the setting sun or whatever, or the rising sun. Look, they're really mad about these memes that and how it violates the social credit, fake patriotic isms, reward for subservience to the regime and the hike. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I've been saying this like from the very onset of the whole pandemic, scamdemic situation, especially here in Michigan. It seems we are a hotbed for some kind of political opposition. Like it's going on. They're like, listen, people like me on the street ain't got nothing to do with it. It's all up in our political system here. It's always been corrupt. Finding mayors getting caught with like crack, like kilos of crack in the, a mayor gets caught with crack in his trunk of his Cadillac. Mayors getting caught with crack and prostitutes all over this state, and all kinds of other weird stuff happens anyway from time to time. It seems there's a lot of locally corrupt stuff going on, especially like the Flint water situation. And I have been saying look, since this has started for me, it has been like freaking Groundhog's Day. And every day is just like time is compressed and stretched and flipped. And it's like we're a time now, instead of a stream, it's like a curved tube wrapped around a freaking copper wire wrapped around an iron nail. It feels like going through every day, and every day is just a repeat of the same. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's been on the edge of the seats. It's like chain smoking, waiting for the election to happen. And I knew from the very onset that we're going to be waiting. And everyone was so in a tizzy about, they wanted to know now, is it Biden or Trump? You know what I'm saying? And then I was watching the news and the presentation of it, and I was like, dude, can anyone make sense of any of this data? And I'm like, look, how hard is it? A vote. Show of hands, man. Tally them up. Do it in sight of everybody. Instead, they make all these complex, sophisticated ways to keep it behind the curtain, so we don't really know what's going on. They're like, here, this is what's going on. Just trust us. You don't need to see behind the curtain. And it's like, well, I know you got to be hiding something if you're doing that. And they have totally been future faking us. This woman came on the freaking screen, like she just pirated the signal here in Michigan on the news, and she says there are going to be many people who are going to try to defame the voting process. And she goes, please, just trust the voting process. And don't listen to anyone if they try to naysay the voting process. And then it switched off and went back to the regular news feed. And I was like, oh my God, dude, that means they're really going to screw this up. And right away I was like, mail-in voters. I goes, that's going to go wrong. And then they said electronic voting machines. I said, that's going to go wrong. And I said that right away. It's like I didn't listen to none of their analyzations, none of the media's stuff. I just looked at those factors and could articulate instantly that this is going to be the place where they go wrong. And that goes on top of that. Just look for dead voters. Because they do this every election already. And it's just they cover it up and sweep it under the rug as if, go back to sleep. The electoral's got it under control. And it's like, well, wait a second. Well, if you're allowing all these fake voters to vote and they're getting tallied and you're not even like releasing it in the news, then how does my vote even count? And the future faker is going to tell you to trust the process. But anyway, and I must say, they started off with the same thing as a lover that's lying to you. Hey, baby, yeah, just do that thing you said you was going to do, and we'll go look for your ring tomorrow. And then you go do that thing, and you do it great, right? And then the dude makes up another excuse, and he says, well, you do that now again, but do it with one arm tied behind your back. Well, if you really love me. You know what I'm saying? Look, future faking, and look, getting the person to jump through the hoops, and you're basking in all the rewards when you're still holding off on your end of the bargain, and they never really make good on it. Or if they do, it'll be like, look, they said they're going to go get you a ring, but they didn't say if it was real or not. You know what I'm saying? So they come bring you a ring, but it's like, say it's like a real, if they tell you it was real, but it's not, well, that's the kind of connery that they'll do. Well, if it's real, they might have stole it from their other woman, their other family that they got on the side, and he swiped one of her rings and slapped that on your finger. You know what I'm saying? And these type of future faking breaches of trust and exploitation and straight up con man acts. This is what they've been doing to us with the just put on the mask, just stay home, just don't drive, only essential travel, just social distance now, just this, just look, just do this and it'll end. Well, since you guys didn't respond well enough, you can't get your ring until you do what you did last night, but you do it blindfolded with one arm tied behind your back. Well, that was pretty good, but that wasn't quite what I was looking for. I don't think that's worth the ring. Now do that again, but let me bring this other girl in, and you got to be blindfolded and tied up, but she gets to keep her. She doesn't have to be blindfolded and tied up until tomorrow, okay, babe? And then we'll go look for your ring. We'll let you off the lockdown, okay, babe? You look, once you got the ring on, you won't have to be locked down, and you won't have to sit at home and never leave and never talk to anyone, all in isolation anymore, babe, okay? Just make sure you keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing your country proud. You're doing your duty to Belinda and Ouchie. Honey, they're really proud of you. They're watching through the camera. Big Brother's watching. Big Brother says, you're doing a good job, okay? We are getting future faked. Listen, they said first it was 2 weeks. Then it was 6 weeks. Then it flipped to 6 months. Now we're already projected to be a year and a half. That was a lie, a future fake. That was a narcissistic thing. Listen, they did everything wrong. They're dumping all the responsibility off on us. Each individual dude, average Joe, average woman, living in fucking Groundhogs Day for fucking over a year now. It's our fault. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer because you guys were in a laboratory messing around with playing around with dangerous stuff, playing with fire like a little kid, and now you burn everything down, and now you want to blame you want to blame it wasn't me, it was them guys down the road that are a different color than us. They did it. They snuck over. They must have done it because they don't like us and they're racist. You know what I'm saying? You gotta blame shift. And in order to get people to buy the blame shift, you gotta smear the person, the character. This is all narc tactics. And I'm telling you, I wish someone else would join in with me and take your narc comb, your fine-tooth narc comb, and your experience as well. Look and listen to these people. and see if anything freaking resonates with anything you ever seen before, like the guilt, like the guilting and shaming, and also the virtue signaling of that's the golden child and the scapegoat child. All you people, you bad people, the reason why the golden boys had to wear their masks for longer and be locked down, but they're essential. They get to travel, but you shouldn't, because you're dirty, and you're just dirty and poor, and we don't like your kind around here anyway. So just go ahead and stay over there. And it is such a freaking Willie Lynch. It's a medical Willie Lynch that's going on. And they're turning this into a caste system, a classist racial profile, a class profiled society where it's further restrictive. Like literally, they're trying to use the social credit system score of China, and they're trying to implement it here in a medical tyranny, medical martial law sort of democidal, lockdown, clampdown on the demographics of your localities. And same thing, they're telling you one thing and doing a total another. They're like, well, you got to take the jab, but we passed a law that we don't have to pay any liabilities in case anything goes wrong. I mean, that is you're experimenting. That means we are all experimentees. It's like, well, then experimentees in an experimental medical experiment, you're supposed to pay people. You know what I'm saying? And in a way, man, I mean, they're kind of, this is literally like a Stanford experiment, Milgram experiment, mixed in with the outbreak type of Hollywood scenario. And it's a think tank operation, Event 201. Look, it's evidence. It's the smoking gun. It's identical to what happened. So, I mean, that's almost like if a criminal wrote a frickin' manifesto and you're looking at his manifesto that he wrote like 2 years ago, and then you look and you see, wait, they did exactly what they said on this manifesto. And that's basically what Event 201 is, a manifesto that this is all a freaking psyop, dude. And it's obvious in the way that they're lying. Oh, the jab's going to save you. Well, now the jab gives you the freaking corona. So it's, which one is it? Everything they're telling you is a blatant, bold-faced lie. And that's a word salad, dude. They are totally being like, they're being intentionally difficult, where they'll tell you one thing, but then in another day you'll ask them the same question and they'll tell you another thing. And then if you call them on it, they'll say, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? You must be a jab denier. You know what I'm saying? You must be a racist jab denier. And it's because of people like you this earth is overpopulated. It's because of people like you the environment's gonna crash, like all these illegal aliens are gonna crash the economy. Look, there's all these weird red herring arguments to cover up what's really going on. It's like you're looking for an outsider to blame when it's obvious inside collaborators are working with outsiders to cause us harm. And look, there's a concept, it's called the overture. And it's a bunch of small, miniature war of attrition type of disasters where you attack a nation's infrastructure through subterfugal type of activating of sleeper cells in gray man regular positions, and they just cause sabotage of the infrastructure. And it seems like this has opened the door for such a thing, because they got everything so compartmentalized. It's like the fox is watching the hen house, and the foxes also are reporting on it. So, and there's even inside the hen houses, there's foxes that are inside of hen suits, acting like, look, the people they're interviewing are foxes inside of hen suits. And they're telling you what happened in the hen house. Nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. Everything's going to go back to normal soon. Just keep complying. Not knowing that's like, look, we've already came so far from normal that, well, I can't even remember what normal was exactly like anymore. I'm starting to brain fog out because I've already started converting into this FUBAR, never really knowing what is really going on ever, and have to totally be on moment to moment, following it, and at any time, any one new freaking piece of information changes the entire narrative, so you can't make no real plans because you don't have enough intel to go off of, and everything that's coming in is misinformation, so you can't use it and factor it in to calculate any kind of planning. And it seems to me as if they've been doing all of this intentionally from the beginning, just like that's what a narc does. That's part of, this is a process called crazy making. And I also seen Trump. It seems like Trump is getting like led on by the Congress and all that, and in our system, that he's not going to get no help in getting vindication on these voting anomalies, where it's obvious there was some legal activities going on, and it's the crazy making cycle is starting up. I mean, not the crazy making, the explosive cycle. We're right on the door, and I can't see it going good it doesn't matter what happens. There's gonna be, they've left us waiting on the edge of our seats for so long. Not a lot of people have patience. Not a lot of people can, pressure creates diamonds, but it also busts pipes. Not everyone's gonna make it to the diamondization. Some people, that pipe's just going to bust, and then they're going to go off in a triggered tantrum, like narcissistic rage, because they're intentionally poking our heartstrings. And when people get their heartstrings and their intellectual strings pulled so hard that they invest in it and come to find out they've been tricked and deceived, they are going to have narcissistic injuries. And they are going to come out with wounded egos. And that is like a vicious dog just snapping at anything, even its master. Because when a dog's hurt, it just goes into fight. And it doesn't really realize who's who anymore, because its state of mind has went into desperation. And I feel with the long and drawn out and the vague and misleading ways that information was leaked during this, and that even it seems as if they had a guilty conscience and snitched on themselves beforehand, that they knew they were going to try to botch this through some kind of treachery. And it's revealing, it's telling how corrupt, how much these people are, what is that called? Bad sports, man. Just, there are some despicable people that are caught up in this popularity scam. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. I'd imagine if the way they've been treating us, they're never gonna release their parameters, like, publicly. They're just not, because going on the schematic, the pattern, following the pattern that this goes, it never ends. They just keep future faking us, and as long as we keep coming to them and asking them for some kind of validation, they're going to keep lying to us. But It's just like the narcissist. When they see you with another woman now, and y'all snuzzled up, and you're, look, all of a sudden now they know how to communicate. All of a sudden now they see that you're serious. All of a sudden now they put their best foot forward on again until they sabotage it and get you isolated again. And then the pattern just repeats again. That's the makeup cycle or reconciliation cycle because part of the doo-doo test is they love to drop the mask on you and then just totally unload and dump all toxicity, all the projections on you. And then, like, in a few days, after, some silent treatment, they be like, maybe I overreacted. And, it takes two to tango. And look, so they're accepting responsibility for it. But then again, they're saying it takes two to tango, but not really. But what if they're 95% of the problem and you only responded 5% because they were persistent in dragging you into it? But now by you apologizing too, that reduces their 95% guiltiness to 50. And then that's the doo-doo test. They just took a crap on your face. You got chomp written on your forehead. And now they start the idealization again. And then after they get you to let your guard down and you start thinking that you're honeymooning, then comes the weirdness. Then comes the once again, the crazy making. And they're building up and building a case to blast you with a stumbling block, a snare, to entrap you into the explosive so they can do it all over again and they can really get a release, like a real ego, mental, sick pleasure release from reeling you back in again. Kind of like, look, man, I loved, kind of like a fisherman. Man, that fish was a good fight. Well, instead of just fishing again, I'm just going to go ahead and cast this fish back in and then reel it in again because that sure was fun. You know what I'm saying? And that is the narc. They love to totally lie to you and drop the mask. And they want you to know that you seen their mask drop. See, but the narc doesn't realize because he gets so overboard on his role and he's engaged on his target, he forgets sometimes there's an audience watching. And listen, they go into character. They get possessed by the character, their undercover, deep cover role. They get possessed by it and they forget. And that, wait a second, other people who aren't engaged in your Connery, your Sean Connery, can kind of see through your mask. And it's like you're the emperor who has got no clothes on, proverbially. But anyway, thank you, Dale, for the excellent meme action. And thank you, producers of this concept here. And the people who participated in it, because now it's such an iconic way for us to express what it's like to be in frickin' purgatory and 2020 hell, which it's like everyone's acting like, oh, it's a new year. But it's like, look, it's the same shit. It never ended. It's like we get to start off carrying the same old baggage from yesterday. Like, look, yeah, there ain't no time. There wasn't no time to recover from this. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in it. This has been really savagely shizzly for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I've been extra targeted and just smashed on. I was already getting smashed on in general before all this, but it just feels like I fell under a lot of the psychic violence of these lies and these projections and these assumptions and this fear-mongering and social engineering and these totalitarian tactics of these falsely called scientism, these devout scientism faith, you know what I'm saying? These false science worshippers have really look. You gave them a little bit of control. These control freaks went all the way in. They went full narc, no mask on us. The mask, in a way, for them is going no mask. They're showing you that, like, look, they're showing you who they are, like what's inside of them. That they're cowardly, they're cowardly liars, dude, and just despicable, rapscallion, reptilian, shape-shifting, like busters. I mean, these busters are out of this world. They gotta be from another freaking planet. These synths, they gotta be synths, because they don't make freaking sense. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I know humans can get pretty dumb, man, but it's something not. We're not in freaking Kansas anymore, buddy. But anyway.